This one looks a little crazy, in a good way. Made for GBG, a massive battlefield like never before. Hey guys, Little Fatty here, and boy do I have a treat for you guys. But before we start, let me preface this by saying that there are certain things that I can't quite tell you guys yet. All I can tell you is that these things can very well turn the negative outlook on the game currently. It's just that it's something that I can't quite say just yet, and it is also something, while confirmed by a trusted source, I would like to see for myself first and really put my hands on it. And then once that has come to fruition, I will be able to tell you guys. So make sure that you like the video, you subscribe, you turn on that notification bell, because when that day comes, well, I think you'd be very, very happy to hear about it. Now, another part of this video is I would like to thank my friend Myrmidon, who actually is the one who provided us this content today. He went to the pioneer testing that happened in Jakarta, Indonesia, that happened well before the online testing that we're going to be doing. Theirs was more of an on-site sneak peek preview, but let's get started with it. This is going to be the first one. We're going to start off light here a little bit. So one of the slides that they showed is just a classic RO authenticity UI comparison, basically saying how the current skill window in RO1 is from top to bottom, and essentially they've made that top to bottom here as well with a more modern, more sleek look to it. The inventory here, obviously you have your tabs on the left side, and they modernize that a little bit more with kind of like the tabs being on the upper end there. Obviously, none of this is the final product quite yet, but it does give you an insight into how kind of like the theme of the UI is going to start to look like going forward. And of course, on the next slide here, we have just an illustration, kind of like the artwork, concept art of like the classes that they have, and this is something that's going to lead on to the next slide, essentially, right? Which it's just an illustration keeping the classic proportions of RO and iconic headwear, but using high resolution physical rendering. The characters' facial expressions and movements are more vivid and detailed. I'm not quite sure what they mean about facial expressions, since the characters right now don't even have a mouth on them. But maybe going forward we're gonna see those changes like come in, and then we'll see a more expressive, a more vibrant facial expression from the characters. Again, a lot of this is currently in beta, a lot of this is currently in testing, so there are going to be a lot of changes happening to these things as we go forward. And here we have the next slide, classic RO authenticity with full upgrade. You used to get a side-by-side comparison of how it was before, RO1 being this and RO3 being this. So you can see in RO3 they really adapted the 2.5D aesthetic of the game, a 2D character in a 3D world. This one has a lot better contrast compared to the other videos and screenshots we've seen, so hopefully they do improve upon this. And they describe it at the bottom as character models maintaining the chibi proportions and iconic RO headwear, but using high resolution physical rendering. The characters' expressions and movements become more vivid and detailed. Again, it's just kind of like the next slide to what we saw beforehand. And the next slide here, it's just a scene, again, it's a scene comparison. They really try to show you how they stayed true to the classic RO feel of it. This one is, I believe this is Geffen, bringing back the classic views and charm of RO's main city with higher resolution physical rendering. And so that you kind of just like see a side-by-side comparison, how things have been improved compared to how it was before. Which is good to see. Like, we kind of want that classic feel with a more modernized touch to it, so that's exactly what we're getting. And this one here is real free trade, something that people are probably going to be very curious, that people have probably been very curious about, breaking the boundaries of traditional MMO trade, returning to the golden era of grinding plus trade. I'm just going to read this out to you guys because it's kind of small. Stall plus trade combination, enjoying the classic stall fun and at Frontera South Gate, and easily perform cross-server trade. So you might be a little bit curious as to what cross-server trade is. Apparently it's been confirmed already that RO3 is going to be one single mega server, and it is going to have a lot of other quote-unquote servers, or more familiar term would be channels. So one mega server, a lot of different channels. You've seen ROM Eternal Love do this one. You've seen games like Black Desert Online do this one. I personally really prefer the one mega server, and I'm glad to see this come into play. We have random drop plus free price. The best equipment and cards will be dropped randomly by monsters. Players set their own prices. Very, very, very classic RO. Every player has the opportunity to become rich suddenly. The economic cycle and social interaction in the game are prioritized. So very, very classic RO, where you can go out into the world, you can grind, and if you, or, if Lady Luck has you within her favors and under her wing, you could get a lucky drop, you could get a Hydra card, you can get one of those rare cards, and just like make a lot of bank and do really well for yourself. So it does encourage a lot of like grinding, essentially. As to whether there will be auto grinding at the end product or not, I'm thinking that they're still deciding if they're going to keep it or not, because according to them, they are listening. A lot of the changes that are going to happen are going to be up to player opinion and a lot of like players concerns, and essentially what is going to be in the Discord. So if you believe in something, you believe in a change. I personally myself believe in just being able to manually farm and have auto progression in another way, shape, or form somewhere else, then I myself will be fighting for the non-auto. And here in this slide we have gameplay innovation. A major problem with traditional MMORPGs, such as the power gap in the later stages, makes it difficult for beginners to adapt, has been resolved. The season system ensures the game remains fair and enjoyable for all players, extending the game's shelf life. So there is going to be a seasonal thing. I'm not quite sure what the implementation of this is going to be exactly, but what we have here now is seasonal growth. Each season offers new growth goals, equipment, and challenges. Existing players receive new challenges without the pressure of new players having to catch up. So basically what the impression that I'm getting from this one is that seasoned players, veteran players will have their own content that they can be focused on. Meanwhile, in the meantime, there's going to be like a bit of a scaled down thing for new players so that they can slowly and gradually catch up, which is very familiar with what you see in games like, let's say, like ARPGs, for example, or even like games like BDO, where you have your seasonal, you have your Tavala gear, you have your seasonal gear, and that helps you transition into the main servers afterwards, after you graduate from season. And it's an overall really good system to get new players kind of acclimated to the game systems and give them enough gear to set them off on their journey and have them be off to a good start, instead of kind of like how it was in the classic RO, which I kind of did love personally myself. But I see the logic behind doing this whole seasonal thing is that maybe they just don't want to set you off into the world with just a knife, right? I'm sure that a lot of like mages, a lot of acolytes felt really bad in the beginning of R1 when they changed jobs, and now they find themselves not being able to equip like a dagger because that was the only thing that was given to us, right? So that's a good thing as well. Seasonal PvP and PvE, ranked PvP, and exclusive seasonal dungeons. Champions will be respecified each season, so it's not a one and done type of thing. Every season is going to be a whole new competition, so it spices up things and really shows who can adapt to the new meta going forward. I'm not sure how they're going to do the PvP. Maybe it's going to be like small scale, medium scale, or maybe even like 1v1s. I'm not sure about 1v1 since that would have to be like a best of class type of thing because of how imbalanced in classes in general. Job design. Season changes are accompanied by major adjustments to job balance and the addition of new skills, maintaining strategic complexity. Again, this one, I'm really not quite sure what they're trying to do. What they mean by the addition of new skills. Are they going to switch around skills in the classes themselves, or maybe in PvP or PvE there are these auxiliary skills that will kind of like be the theme of that dungeon or that arena, and then they change that up like every season? I'm not quite sure, but that's the thing that to me makes the most sense and doesn't mess too much with the existing balance of the game, of the base game. Additional season content. Each new season will bring new exploration maps and exclusive MVPs to keep the gameplay exciting. So I wonder if this means that they will actually have the classic MVPs And then with the seasonal MVP content exploration maps, maybe they'll have like something that I think something Maple Story does really well, where they'll create a new generated like map where this event like is going on, and there's going to be specific boss monsters, event boss monsters in there. And if they actually do pull that off in that way or in that matter, I think that would spice up the game enough for people to really be engaged, especially in these like these periods where there is no big expansion quite yet, and the big expansion is possibly like a few months into the future. You know, hopefully they pull this off, and yeah, best of luck to them. And now the most exciting thing here for me is gonna be this one here. You guys know how much I love GVGs. You guys know how much I love the kind of like the War of Imperium GVG Castle Siege thing that's happening. This one looks a little crazy in a good way. Made for GVG, a massive battlefield like never before. So you can see on the right side here right away, this is the castle, right? This is the castle. You have your certain points here. We're not quite sure what these are going to be for quite yet, but on the left side here, you see a massive map. And if I am to assume that a castle is going to be like somewhere around here, most likely the one here in the middle, that means that the rest of this map has a lot of purpose, and they will expand upon this later on. So the world map for this one is going to be 1500. It's going to be 1500 by 1500 pixels. Accommodates up to 1500 players to fight in real time on the same screen, maximum optimization without lag for thousands of players. Now that's a bold statement to say in an MMORPG, especially after we saw how bad the wars and sieges in Ru were. So I really hope that they deliver on this one. Again, cautiously optimistic. Hopefully they pull it off, but expectations, again, keep them low. And just hope for the best. If it's good, it's good. We win. If it's bad, well, our expectations were low anyway. So, you know, strategy complexity. Add escort tasks, resource struggles, surprise attacks, alliances, and various other tactics, making war no longer just a clash of character statuses. So, it seems to me that there is going to be a lot of macro play going on with this new map, because you need to assign people depending on the impact of any of these tasks, right? Like escort tasks, you need to assign a group or a squad for this one, and you need to make sure that you invest enough resources for this task, for example, so that you don't get outnumbered by the resources expended by the enemy team or enemy alliances. So on the macro perspective, you're, as a shot caller, for example, like myself, you're supposed to assign people to these tasks, and you need to make sure that you have the right composition, the right amount of numbers, and on the side of the people assigned to these tasks, they will have to work on their micro communications on the side extremely well as well, and they need to make decisions on the fly and communicate with the main shot caller so that they know if they need more reinforcements or they need more help. But man, this is looking to be incredibly crazy. When it comes to how hectic this is going to be. It's going to be insane if they actually manage to pull this off. Again, I like the idea. I'm not sure if we're going to like the execution. Hopefully they execute it correctly, because if they do, this is going to be insane. Global participation, whether it's a major guild conflict, a small or medium-sized guild disturbance, or a solo player escort task, every player can find their role and excitement in territory war and earn abundant rewards. So they're trying to strike a middle ground here with all sorts of players. It's ambitious. It's incredibly ambitious. It sounds really good on paper, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not even sure how I would be able to do this myself and do it in a way that's exciting for all parties, right? The classic thing that we know right now is that the dominant guild gets a lot of the fun, they get a lot of the rewards, they get a lot of the prizes, they get the best rewards. but how are you going to make it so it's going to be exciting for the smaller or medium-sized guilds or even the solo players, for them to be able to enjoy piece of this large territory war content, and then give them enough rewards so it's worth it for them in terms of fun, in terms of rewards, that they are willingly going to be able to participate in this. This is insanely good and insanely ambitious. And if it works out, it's going to be something that the MMORPG genre has not ever seen before. And if they do pull it off, then they would have been able to provide something in the MMORPG genre that nobody else has and nobody else can quite yet. And that's what's going to set this game apart from the rest. I guarantee you, if they pull this off and they do this right, they will pull every single person that was a fan of the large-scale battles in Thorn and Liberty, and they will guarantee that they get that player base right away. Because yeah, this is something else. I'm really looking forward to how they're gonna pull this one off. And this one right here, you guys have seen already in the trailers as well, where if you clear a dungeon with your party, you have your team auction, where I'm guessing you can auction it to the marketplace, to the auction house, or you could kind of like bid against each other. You must have remaining reward attempts for the current dungeon to participate in auction and receive dividends. And they give you the dividend rate here for the auction, which is 0.8. If no one bids, the unsold item will be randomly distributed to eligible party members who have reward attempts remaining, which means that you essentially can be done with the dungeon, but you can help people out at the same time, right? 3, giving up on an item during the auction is final and cannot be reversed. In here is just a video that you can see, a bit of a preview of how the classes look like, or what their skills are going to be like looking like here. Nothing too crazy. Basically what you probably already know if you played RO before, or you still play RO. But I thought I might as well just show this to you guys right now, because again, I know a lot of people are hungry for RO3 information, RO3 content. So we're giving it to you right here and now. Mechanic, it's crazy how big this mech is. I wonder if like it's actually to scale. I've seen some of it already. It's very similar to like how RO1 was, but I wonder if they have a more extension to these things. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys right now. Again, there will be another testing that's going to happen on the 12th. Hopefully I can be there to make it. And yeah, when that does happen, I will be live streaming it as well, and I'll see you guys there. Peace.